This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the best all-in-one platform for any of your website building needs. Hey guys, it's Celestia, and I'm bored and sad. Over the past 2 months, this channel has mostly been drama, depressing story times, explanations of how AI is destroying art and artists, and why life kind of sucks for artists in general right now. Obviously, those are discussions that need to be had, but that doesn't mean that having them all the time is fun, and sometimes I need a break. So today we're going back to the channel's roots, anime and art. More specifically, anime art. Even more specifically, the tropes in anime art that I hate the most. I asked you guys on both my Twitter and YouTube community page what your least favorite anime art tropes were, and my god, there were a lot. Rightfully so, because it's hard to watch a lot of anime and not get pissed off by so many of the dumb art choices that are made over and over again. There were some that I heard a lot of, like the same face syndrome and how all anime characters' faces look the same, that while I understood, I disagreed with. Like, to a degree, that can and should be expected from the style, in my opinion, since it simplifies features so aggressively that frequent similarities are inevitable. Still, I do get why people are annoyed by it, it's just not something that annoys me in particular. Others mention same body syndrome, where all anime characters have the same body type, especially with female characters. Like, male characters often have more diversity in terms of weight and height, whereas female characters are mostly thin with relatively impossible curves. Both genders do face this in anime though, and while I do agree that that sucks, I also think that that's just not funny. This is a funny video. That is a legitimate issue that's getting its own video soon. We're gonna keep them separate so I can keep my sanity. But anyway, after looking through all of those responses, I combined the ones I agreed with the opinions I already had, and now I'm here to bring you the top 10 worst anime art tropes, in my opinion anyway, illustrated. That's right, for almost all of them, I'm destroying Duchess Celestia by drawing her in the form of awful anime tropes. And I'm not gonna lie, I had so much fun with this that I don't care if you guys watch this video. I'm gonna make more of these, get ready. But in what might be my weirdest ad integration yet, I'm gonna have to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace, in order to introduce the #1 worst anime trope, the brown-haired generic anime boy protagonist. Let me explain. As a lot of longtime viewers of this channel and perusers of the internet at all already know, Squarespace is an online website building and hosting platform that lets anyone make anything they want into a website. And to prove that they really can let you make anything into a website, I made one, just to showcase my favorite examples of this anime art trope. We all know the one. The anime protagonist with brown hair and nondescript features that serves mostly as a self-insert for the viewer that we're all sick of seeing. In fairness, I personally don't think Dazai, Light, or Lelouch deserve to be on here because of how dynamic they are, but popular opinion begs to differ, so I put them there anyway. The point is that you can't watch a significant number of anime series without encountering the male protagonist with brown hair and no other distinguishing features. And now you can see them, all at once, with this beautiful website at brownhairedanimeboys.squarespace.com. It's not public, don't go there, because I'm not gonna buy a domain name for an expertly executed joke, but you can see it on screen, and that's what matters. If I made these anime boys into a nice-looking website, you can make what you actually want and need to make into one too. Be that a portfolio, online store, or literally anything else on Squarespace. There are member-only spaces with paywall-restricted content, easy template editing with next-generation Fluid Engine drag and drop, a million templates to edit with it, online store integration, and so much more. Squarespace is the best way to turn your vision for a website into a reality, and you can get a free trial to test it out yourself by going to squarespace.com/DuchessCelestia, linked in the description, and use code DuchessCelestia for 10% off your first domain purchase. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video and our favorite generic brown-haired anime boys, and please go check them out. Now, on with the list. Number 2, the lolly character that the anime justifies sexualizing because she's secretly 1,000 years old. And I'm not drawing that. I don't think I need to say why. There's a reason this trope is so widely hated, and it goes without saying, so while I obviously had to include it in a video about hated anime tropes, I'm not gonna give that garbage any more talking time than this, much less draw it. Bye, 1,000-year-old dragon demon vampire girl that looks 5, you won't be missed. Number 3 is one that anyone who's watched Bungo Stray Dogs knows well. The absolutely unhinged fisheye angle zoom in on a character's tiny pupils when they're scared, shocked, or about to commit some kind of unspecified atrocity. Studio Bones truly did Atsushi dirty with that, and like way too many times. I mean, what is this? How did they justify this not just once, but like upwards of 5 times? I get it, dramatic angles are important to setting a scene and expressing urgency, but not like this. Just not like this. Is it not enough that all anime characters' pupils shrink to impossible sizes when they're afraid? Must we also have to be subjected to these unhinged angles too? I know Bungo Stray Dogs and Studio Bones as a whole aren't the only offenders, but they do it so much much and so badly that it's unforgivable. Please take this fish-eyed Celestia to haunt your nightmares like fish-eyed Atsushi haunts mine. Now, number 4 is more of a manga trope than an anime trope, but I couldn't resist throwing it in, and it's yaoi hands. I think I speak for everyone when I say that the unimaginable, inexcusable size of dudes' hands in yaoi manga and even some anime it's baffling. It's beyond words. To the point where I don't even know why. Like, is this supposed to be attractive to anyone? I know that I, a lesbian woman, am not the target audience here, but am I, as the viewer, genuinely supposed to be enticed by the fact that this dude's hand is the size of my torso? I'm not. I'm afraid. I see a man like that walking around and I run the opposite direction as fast as humanly possible, and I really don't think I'm alone in that response. I get it. Making the dominant character physically large makes them more attractive in their role of, well, the dominant character. But for the love of God, make them larger all around in general. Don't make their hands the size of a small child. If you're watching this and you are the mythical target audience that actually finds yaoi hands attractive, please comment and explain yourself. I need to understand, and you owe the world an explanation, because drawing this yaoi hand Celestia might be the worst thing I've ever done. I'm moving on to number 5 because honestly, I really want to stop looking at this. Number 5 might be a hot take, actually, because I think some people actually enjoy this one or think it's funny or cute, but not me. I'm talking about all the weirdly exaggerated nose stuff. The ridiculously, physically impossible nosebleeds that literally explode out of a character's nose when they see someone hot. Gross. It's gross. The massive snot bubble that emerges from the horrifying depths of a character's nostril when they're tired or sleeping. Also gross. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't see the appeal of liquids coming out of someone's nose, much less coming out so exaggeratedly and dramatically that it's literally impossible to ignore. And I don't think that's crazy. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, because there has to be a significant enough number of people who like this stuff if characters like Cubchoo and Daisy May exist and are deemed cute. I mean, I do think they're cute, but I think that gigantic snot bubble does detract from that. Number 6, though, is probably a lot colder of a take. When characters have unbelievably exaggerated, ridiculous, humanly impossible body proportions. Anime's an exaggerated style, and I get that. I'm not talking about characters like Kashiwagi from Persona, who have big boobs, but still within the realm of reasonable believability, where it's like exaggerated within the style, but still humanly possible, or at least close. No. I'm talking about Uzaki-chan or, you know, anyone from High School of the Dead, where their boobs are so inhumanly, inexplicably large that it should be impossible for them to actually stand up, while still having the tiniest waist possible, wide hips, and no fat anywhere that's not deemed physically attractive. I get fan service, but this is just, it's too far. The fact that it contributes to the increasingly damaging and thoroughly unachievable beauty standards for women is a topic for its own video, and it's not funny, so I'm not gonna talk about it now. What I am gonna talk about now is how stupidly annoying it is, and come back to the yaoi hands question of just who does this appeal to? As a lesbian, I actually am in the target audience for this one, and I have absolutely no clue how massive balloon boobs are supposed to be hot. Big boobs in general, sure, I get that, but when it looks like the woman literally attached 2 watermelons to her chest and wouldn't even be able to stand, no! I am worried about this woman, not attracted to her. And then they make sure her clothes are practically painted on, too, because God forbid realistic clothing folds obscure the glory that is her chest. Male characters have the same thing in a different way, with painted on clothes so that their muscles can be seen through absolutely anything they're wearing, because God forbid you go 5 minutes without being reminded that the dude's shredded. And you know what? Back to the boobs, I'm on a tangent. Can we talk about those outfits that could physically never hope to support the character's boobs, but inexplicably do anyway? Not only is it annoying, it's a nightmare for cosplayers. Like, come on. Moving on to number 7 before I rant for 10 straight minutes about boobs, let's talk about catgirls. Now, listen, I am not here to dunk on catgirls. Catgirls are fine, and while cute little Neko ears and a tail may be overdone as hell as a trope, they're cute. They get a pass. At least from me, the ultimate authority on all things anime. What I take issue with is when catgirls don't just have cat ears, but also human ears. Like, what? Why? How do they function with that much hearing? Is that not constantly overstimulating? Are they just some vestigial functionless feature like the male nipple or the tailbone? Do they only hear out of one pair? Which pair? I just have so many questions that the human ear catgirl leaves painfully unanswered, and I hate it. I just hate it. Ugh. Moving on. Now we're at number 8. Potentially the most notorious trope in all of anime. The cheek mouth. You know what I'm talking about. The side profile of an anime character where the mouth is literally detached from the lips, to the point that if you were to actually look at them head on, their mouth would be on the side of their face. Their lips, mind you, would still be in the center, but the mouth would be just a separate feature, I guess, independent from the lips. I don't know when this just became so commonplace. When we all let this become commonplace and just accepted it as an inevitable, unavoidable anime trope that we all just have to live with, but we shouldn't have. It was a mistake. I am so tired of the cheek mouth, and I think we all need to take a stand. Fight big anime. End the cheek mouths once and for all. As someone who learned anime art before realism, this trope literally literally taught me how to draw faces wrong for years, and I will hold my grudge against it until the day I die. No more cheek mouth. And while we're on the topic of mouths, we need to talk about number 9, the flesh fang. You know the one. The one singular tooth-like protrusion that looks like a fang, but it's inexplicably skin? Like it's a part of their mouth, but it's a tooth, but it's not? I have no idea what this thing is, but I know I hate it. I hate it so much. Maybe this is a hot take too, but I know it's trying to be cute, and it's failing. This is not cute. It's horrifying. It either looks like their mouth is melting, or forces me to imagine what their face would look like in reality if they literally just had a tooth-shaped part of their lip, and I don't want to imagine that. That image is the worst thing I've ever seen, and I don't want to keep being reminded of it. The flesh fang can go right in the trash with the cheek mouth. Finally, we're at number 10. Every character looking the exact same age until they're like 70, and then suddenly they're ancient. There are so many series where you physically cannot tell if a character is 15 or 40 just by looking at them, with high schoolers being indistinguishable from their teachers based on features alone, and every single old person looking like a hunched over grandma. Occasionally, they'll do something like give them glasses, a more mature hairstyle, or sharper looking, more angular eyes. But beyond that, age in anime is basically just a myth unless the character's as old as the earth itself. Obviously, there are some exceptions, especially when the anime has a more realistic style, like Death Note, for example. But the simpler the style, the less possible it becomes to have any clue at all how old the characters are without context or clothing. I get that to an extent it comes with the style, but for the love of God, at least try. The fact that male characters get the little eye lines and tiny wrinkles when they're middle-aged, but women don't because that's deemed less attractive speaks to a larger issue too, but that is another issue for another day. The point is that it's infuriating, even if looking at a lineup of identical characters with wildly different ages is admittedly really funny. And that brings us to the end of today's video, but not the end of the series. I'm gonna keep doing these whether you guys like it or not. I'll do my favorite anime art tropes, the worst animation tropes, the worst character design tropes. You're in for it all. But in the meantime, keeping to today's topic, please leave your least favorite, most hated anime art tropes in the comments below, because I'm genuinely interested to hear them all, and as an asshole, I can't resist roasting my favorite form of media. Also tell me if you disagreed with any of the ones I roasted today and actually like them, because I'm equally interested in why. Especially the yaoi hands. Please, I am perplexed. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Special thank you as always to channel members Cafe Soleil, Joseph Solomon, TC Pratt, Haruki Kenway, Zelda Deverak42, and Art of Amethyst Fable, as well as patrons Batman, Kyle Lowe, Blue Swanson, Cora Fear, Jamisha Walker, Alengshi, Kim Yen, Shamil Sheep, Crazy SR, Yen Tong, Grayson Xavier, MG, Blah Mage, TC Pratt, Finn, Celine Merriman, Ash W, Inside Chaos, Eldritchia, The Stray Dog, Allura, Greg Noble, and Decagon for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.